All right, let's take you through the big story of the day. Of course, the country at this point divided over stray dogs being taken off the streets in not the most scientific manner. According to dog lovers and activists, they say the Supreme Court asking for street dogs to be moved out in 8 weeks' time isn't the end to the problem. But in some relief, the Supreme Court today has shifted the motu case on stray dogs in Delhi-NCR to a newly constituted three-judge bench after much of the activism and protesters who came out holding candlelit protests whole of yesterday. Today, the Supreme Court has finally agreed to hear this matter yet again. So, a newly constituted three-judge bench has been formulated, which will hear the matter tomorrow. The case earlier before a different bench now will be taken up by three other justices. Justices Vikram Nath, Sandeep Mehta and N.V. Anjaria. This special bench will hear 4 related petitions, including fresh pleas challenging the recent order to round up all stray dogs. Now, in its interim directions, the court has told the Delhi government, the MCD, NDMC, as well as the civic bodies in Noida, Ghaziabad, Gurugram and Faridabad to set up dog shelters or pounds and report back within 8 weeks' time. So, the court is certainly going to hear the matter yet again, but it seems like the court still stays with the order given initially, asking for dog shelters to be set up with immediate effect. Now, the number from 3 lakhs has been reduced to 5,000. It appears that the court says at least start with 5,000 dogs. 5,000 strays must be moved out of localities to begin with. They must be given shelters. In those shelters, there must be trained personnel to sterilize, deworm, vaccinate and care for these dogs without releasing them back into the streets or public spaces. So these dogs must remain in those shelters. And all shelters, as per the court, will be monitored strictly through CCTV cameras so they ensure that strays are not removed, released or abused. Now, this is the Supreme Court's order now that has resulted in huge backlash across the country. The order has triggered protests across Delhi, NCR and pan-India. We're looking at animal protection groups, politicians, activists, citizens, all calling this move itself as impractical, illogical and illegal. Petitioners point to a 2024 Supreme Court directive that had emphasized earlier, same Supreme Court had emphasized compassion towards the four-legged animals, dogs specifically. The Chief Justice of India, however, has said after much of this backlash that he is going to look into the matter yet again after all the protests that have happened. It seems like the Supreme Court has had a change in heart. But the judgment will come in tomorrow. Hopefully, that's for the best. Maybe a best solution will come out that will cater to a genuine problem and yet at the same time is not so harsh on the animals. Now, we're looking at different states. After Delhi, many states, including Tamil Nadu, now want the same policy. Tamil Nadu, Madras High Court also says that we want similar policy for Tamil Nadu because children are under threat. Dogs' bites are increasing in Tamil Nadu. So, let's have the same implemented in Tamil Nadu. Karnataka as well. There seems to be a lot of demands in Karnataka. In fact, the BBMP in Karnataka has now put out some staggering data where they speak of 13,831 dog bite cases that have been reported in just the last 6 months. So this data that's coming out, all the more leading to questions whether the move by the Supreme Court possibly sweeping and some might call it hasty, but is it the need of the hour? 36% jump in dog bites in just the last 1 year. We saw the highest numbers of nearly 2,562 cases in Karnataka alone, and I'm talking about 6 months barely. These numbers have gone up. In fact, the state of Karnataka now requires up to 40,000 rabies vaccines every month, and it's supplied for free at government hospitals. At private hospitals, the doses cost about 300 to 400, and with severe cases, it needs a lot more treatment that could cost up to 6,000. So, is this certainly a move in the right direction? The Supreme Court, of course, thinking it is, but animal groups say sterilization is really not the end to the problem. And Karnataka Chief Minister also Siddaramaiah echoing that, saying that a roundup on the dogs like this is inhumane. Rahul Gandhi there backing the move of the activist community, saying that solutions must be pulled out, which is human in nature. It can't be so that the dogs are tortured and taken away, and according to them, this is basically not a fix. But is sterilization alone a fix? That's the big question here, and that's what we ask our panelists here tonight. If there is a way to this problem, and what's the best way possible? I'm joined in by Aniruddha Ravindra, animal activist and co-founder, Prana Animal Foundation. Thank you. Amit Gupta, Senior Executive Member, DDRWA Federation, and also Gajendra K. Sharma, Country Director, World Animal Protection of India. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us here on News 9. I'd like to ask you, of course, we've heard what the animal activist community has to say about a sweeping move like this directed in Delhi alone. But as the direction has come, simultaneously, multiple states, including Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, has said, we want the same rule in our state as well. And BBMP in Karnataka particularly was quick to release numbers of the number of rabies cases, of the number of dog bites that have exponentially risen. So this is a real problem. I know seniors and children have stopped venturing out of their homes because they fear street dogs. And that's not the society or a community we want to be living in. So what's the best solution in your view? If I could start with Gajendra.
Thank you for having me here today. Actually, the only solution to the problem we are discussing here is that why there are so many dogs on the street. And as an organization, we believe that the humane and science-based solution, which is the only solution, because by shifting them from one place to another place, you create a lot of other problem, which is not just related to the animal welfare, but the whole ecological balance is the other issue. So I think if an effective human dog population management program, along with the rabies vaccination, and the public awareness about how to avoid dog bites, is the only solution we see in such a situation. And unfortunately, the efforts put in so far in terms of the dog population management program in Delhi, particularly, if I would say, is not enough to deal with the number of dogs we have on the street. So this needs to be done in a very effective and efficient way to make sure that the 70% of the dogs at least get vaccinated and sterilized in the city.
Well, I'd like to ask our panelist, in fact, if Amit Gupta could give us a little sense on the threat that humans face. You know, ultimately, it's human life that is priority, and no doubt it is. But at the same time, we know that the dogs are man's best companion, the best friend. And if one can care for these dogs without having to clash with them, great. But that doesn't seem to be the story here. Dog bites have risen exponentially, and rabies cases also on the rise. You know, one might say, well, there are more rape cases, there's more robbery, there's more theft, there's more this and that. All that a separate discussion. Let's specifically speak about dog attacks in India, which has become an epidemic. What's the best way to control it? And in your view, RWAs are in full support with the Supreme Court's verdict. It's the animal activist groups who are opposing this. So where could we strike a balance?
I can start with one thing. See, as we say that every human being is a different, so every dog is a different. Like I have a different characteristics as compared to other panelists on this group, on this channel. Same goes with a dog. I give my personal experience. I'm very familiar with the dogs. I'm very friendly with the dogs. I don't fear of them. I give them food. But my wife, she's very fear of them. My sister, she had a dog bite 35 years ago when these normal injections was not available. So she's having a great fear of the dogs. So same goes with the other people, especially with the kids, senior citizen, elders who walk. See, the problem lies with the failure of the ABC program. The sterilization was not done, their population was not controlled, and other thing which is very important to highlight, once a dog start biting, it becomes generally a habit for that. I was watching the videos on your channel. You were showing that the dog was chasing a lady on the scooter or anything. In our area, there are many dogs who are regularly, attacking the human or biting them, and they need to be moved to the shelter home. I'm not saying that each and every dog need to be moved there, but the dogs who are regularly attacking
So these dogs, Amit, I just want to basically highlight what you just said. Dogs who have a habit of attacking, even if they are sterilized, their aggression is not going to be right. You can't erase that. So that's
I have the proof, right? We have the data in my society. One dog is there who has caused more than 10 to 12 bites. We have the written proof of the victims that we have given to the Noida authority to DM. In our case, AWY has even issued a notice. Another thing is that when we talk about sterilization, control their population, but not necessary that they will reduce the dog bite. Dog needs food. Sometimes some dog become aggressive. As I mentioned that I'm very friendly with the dogs. In the last 4 or 5 years, I've seen them. Once they got a habit of biting or attacking someone, they'll do it. Maybe because of the fear, or maybe something bad happened with them, or maybe some issues. So those dogs need to be in shelter home. Those not need to be on the roads, in the society, or in the sectors.
So,
But
if I draw
yes,
parallels to human behavior, a person with anger issues will have to be dealt with. So, same goes with a dog. A dog with anger issues will have to be dealt with. And that would mean moving it to a shelter being the wisest decision.
right, give him or her the treatment and put him in the shelter home so that he or she can be easily live there, and the people there on that area don't have that fear of that dog will attack them. See, I was reading through the data. So the data says, in the Supreme Court order I was going through, the data was mentioned that till this year in maybe June there were 52 lakhs cases of dog bite. And today's Times of India, there was a data that officially we says there are 350, around 350 deaths due to rabies, but unofficial number is more than 10 to 15,000. And when we talk about the dog bite, there are certain categories of dog bite. Normal dog bite, maybe scratch, need a normal vaccination, but there are certain different kind of dog bites, like which happened in the Ghaziabad. There the person needs so many stitches, and that normal vaccination is not useful there. Noida, if I talk about the Noida data, as per today's newspaper, in last 7 months, more than 70,000 dog bite cases, and last year more than 2 lakh dog bite cases, which is roughly 10% of the Noida population.
No, I mean, let me be honest. I stay in Delhi, in South Delhi. It's as bad inside gated communities. Uh,
Right.
you have guards there. It's a gated community that I live in, but yet you have dogs in those areas circling you while you walk out. They're following you. They might not be biting you, but they bark, and they're just eerie. I mean, you can be as friendly with them, but they still, there's a sense of danger that you feel. And this
Right.
is, I'm talking within gated communities, and I know this is a area which is upscale. You have people there who have all the means to do as they want to. If they want that area clear, they are helpless. And I've seen people elderly coming out on the streets with big sticks in the night just to take a walk in their own gated community. So in a gated community, this has become a menace. I can only imagine on areas that aren't protected. Aniruddha?
That is because of the failure of municipality. See, we have to question them. If there is a dog population increase, then who should we question? People who have the authority to pick up the dog, sterilize them, and leave it back. But they are not doing that. See, catch, neuter, vaccine, return. This is the only formula which is going to work out for a very long time. That we have to understand. But when we are talking about stray dog menace, when we talk about this dog bite cases, we have to understand few things here. What and how the community is with those dogs, and what are we trying to do with it? Are we as a community trying to sterilize them? Because definitely, like Mr. Amit said, every dog is different. I will completely agree with it. But if that is the cases, why aren't we acting upon it? Why aren't the municipality acting upon it? Because the local authority is the governing body which takes care of all the local stray dogs. So they have to be answerable for all these things. If they are not answerable, then it is going to be difficult for everyone. Even with the
I
animal
agree. You
welfare
know what,
activists,
Aniruddha, I absolutely agree. And this is what I had on my show yesterday as well, where we had dog lovers, activists who say this is just so unfair because of the fault of the municipal authorities for not carrying out the ABC program in the right direction. You have now dogs who have to suffer. They're being pulled out of their familiar zones and dumped into areas they're not aware of. That becomes worse. In fact, they become more aggressive due to that. But okay, accepting the fact that the municipal has failed us, should we still deal with the threat that's just around us like this? Sterilization alone will kill the aggression of the dog? Can it really fix the problem of dog bites?
sterilization will definitely help with like
How?
probably like 30% of the aggression goes down. Okay, we have the data for that also, where
Okay.
sometimes there are instances where some dogs might be aggressive. Like you said, there are certain people who we can't change at all. A creepy man who's going to look down upon women or men like that. We can't change their behavior. They have to go to the center. They have to get the counseling done. That is how even with the animals we have to deal with the same thing. In Karnataka, I think like you stated that there is a Karnataka has given this numbers because people are aware here that they have to report if there is a dog bite cases. So that is why we have this kind of number. So and that will help the animal activist and the animal rights group to act upon it. That will help the municipality to know the numbers and they can actually do something about it upon it. Just crying about saying that okay, there is a stray dog menace, that will lead to nowhere. This is what going to happen. It is going to see, even if the solution what Supreme Court has given today, putting all the dogs in one pound is not the real solution because it is not going to help you or me or the dogs. But with this sterilization, Bangalore is actively, they have taken up ABCs, all the tenders, contractors are working day and night to catch dogs and neuter it because of the population. And there are incident, one or two incidents definitely will happen when when this is all going around. But we have to appreciate that people are much more aware in
Not one or
Karnataka
two
so that
instances.
these
If it was
numbers are
one or two
given.
instances, we wouldn't be discussing this today. Supreme Court wouldn't have taken this matter up with urgency. These are not one or two instances. And,
One or two
a lot of
instances
people,
right now. I'm talking about the instances which are happening right now in Bangalore, where people are actually working towards the ABC programs. And I think we have reported two cases where it became a national news in Banaswadi, which happened, and the dog bite case, which happened. The other one around CMRT college, which happened. So these are the instances. Definitely, these are happening from a long time. And BBMP has woken up and doing something about it. Thanks to the government, thanks to our chief minister, who's actually, pro animals and pro scientific research based, solution rather than just picking up and dumping somewhere.
Supreme Court's direction is unscientific, but you have people now doing a good job. Amrut joins me here. Amrut, thanks. Good to see you. Amrut is a dog psychologist. He's done extensive work towards the community. I'd like to ask you, Amrut, the Supreme Court has now agreed to hear this matter yet again. They are willing to reconsider the order that they first initially passed, but that doesn't mean that they stop building shelters. That direction has gone out. So shelters are now going to be built in a fast-track manner. 5,000 dogs are going to be moved to shelters within 8 weeks' time. But the larger repercussions will be heard maybe tomorrow. So they will take a decision tomorrow as to exactly how to move forward with this issue. Why don't you tell us if this is a scientific method that the Supreme Court has adopted? My only limited point here is that the menace is in your face. Anyone I speak to, including myself, I fear stepping out of my own home because of dogs. I can't even take a walk in my locality. I know of every single person in my neighborhood who has the same claim. They all have pets. They all love dogs. But street dogs are a menace. So how do you tackle this?
See, primarily street dogs have been a part of the ecosystem in any society, especially metro cities, could be Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Hyderabad, wherever. One, moving them out of the city or sanitizing the city from stray dogs, it is not going to put a full stop to the problem. In fact, it would increase. What needs to be done is consider packs, identify the pack leader, then rectify the pack leader's behavior, or see what has to be done with the pack leader, because now what is happening, taking these stray dogs away from the ecosystem is going to increase the rats, rodents in the society, and a lot more problems that would arise from the dogs we would have from the rats and rodents. Point number one, infectious diseases, zoonotic diseases, lot more. One. Second, I do understand that people are scared of stray dogs and their attacks. We do understand that we can be attacked at any moment. Now, so the only thing that could be done is animal birth control. Second, if you want to rehabilitate, or if you want to rework on the behavior, or think of what has to be done, it should be the pack leader. See, dogs are pack animals. Being a PhD, or the only PhD or canine behavior and training, Dr. Amrut, I would vouch for it that it is not all the followers in the pack. It is the pack leader who has to be addressed, whose behavior has to be addressed. One. What would happen if this continues with the same law? See, once the dogs who are vaccinated already, who have undergone ABC, a percentage of them have undergone ABC, we move them out of the city. It is not that the city is going to be very clean and clear. We would get dogs from outside the city who are going to move in. Point number one. You will not be able to stop it no matter what, whichever government, whichever court would suggest anything, you will not be able to keep a vacuum there. The vacuum will be covered by stray dogs who are moving across from different places. Point number one. Point number two, these dogs may not be vaccinated, may not have the animal birth control program done to them, may not be neutered or sterilized. Point number two. Third, the dogs who are going to walk in, they don't know how to behave in this particular scenario, because the present dogs that you think of, think that they're a threat for you, they have been there as Charles Darwin's theory, the survival of the fittest, for several generations. So they are way, way, way. If you think this is a problem, the one you would get in moving these dogs out is going to be a disaster. It's not going to be a problem. Point number one. And you will not be able to move all the dogs, because the pack leaders are the smart ones, not identified, will not get caught. The followers are the ones who will be caught, and they would be put into a shelter. Out of 5,000 or 5 lakh or 50 lakh dogs, the 5-10% of the pack leaders who are going to remain in the society, they will turn into a man-eater very, very soon. It has taken thousands of years to make a wolf into a dog by mankind, but then it's not going to take much years, probably even in months, to move the dog into a wolf, because the ones who are not available, not getting caught by these people, they're the smartest, they're the aggressive, they're the best, they're the survival of the fittest among all of them. They are not going to come out in day, they're not going to get caught. They are the ones who are going to reproduce and give more generation to these dogs who are going to be deadly. Today we have attacks, we have chases, we'll have deaths in future. We may have deaths recorded, few in number, but we're going to have more if we move out the dogs. What needs to be done is look at the king, look at the emperor, because it's
So
worth the
you
dog like a
literally
monkey to
have
man.
to deploy detectives then. It sounds like human behavior
Not
to me.
required.
You got to have
Very simple,
detectives to
Ravilas,
find
very
these
simple.
pack leaders.
No, it is very easy
Not
to find a
required. It
pack
is
leader.
very simple. When anybody in a
Right,
bakery is
second,
feeding a dog few food, or dog feeding centers, wherever dogs are being fed off, there'll be one of this old dog, probably most of the times it's an old dog, who's going to slowly walk in, and the moment this dog walks in, the other dog stops eating food and gives way for him. Or the dog, when there is a female dog, a stray dog on heat, and there are 10 dogs following them, there'll be one dog who would be the one who's able to lock, and that one particular dog where the female lifts her tails and gives the way to. They are the pack leaders. Or even easier, when there is a new vehicle, when there is a new person who walks into your territory, and in your locality, there's one dog who tells Akraman. In the olden movies, we used to see it's like, wow, 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 and stop. And then you have 10-15 dogs coming from nowhere. They are the pack leaders, and this has to be identified. Education is the only solution. Educate public, educate pet owners, educate dog lovers,
Okay,
and
so while we hear you, I have just for our viewers to hear what our JDS MLC in Karnataka has said, that under his supervision, he ensured 2,500 dogs were killed. So children in that community could be safe. This is what he said boastingly. Listen in.
ನಾನು ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಮುನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷ ಆದನು. ನನ್ನ ಉದ್ದೇಶ 2,800 ನಾಯಿಯನ್ನು ಇದು ಮಾಂಸ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇದು ಹಾಕೋ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಅವ್ರು ಸಾಯಿಸಿ ತೆಂಗಿ ಮರಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಉಣಿಸಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ. ಹಾಂ, ಆಯ್ತು, ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ರಿ, ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡೋಣ, ನೋಡೋಣ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡೋಣ.
Let me cut straight to our panelists on what our Karnataka MLC has said. 2,500 dogs were killed in Chikmagaluru. I'm not too sure if this is even legal. Authorities there taking a decision like this unilaterally, he's admitted to it. I would assume this is nothing less, nothing short of criminal. Amrut?
Absolutely. I have not heard of this being a part of Karnataka. But then, yes, if what he's telling is true, then killing dogs is not going to help. And if that many dogs were actually killed, whether it was legal or illegal, then today Chikmagalur would have faced way more death than humans compared to the dogs that had happened. So I don't conflict his words, but what I do see is that scientifically, being a doctorate in canine behavior and training, killing these dogs, moving these dogs into a confinement area or relocating them, none of this is going to be a permanent solution. It's going to bring in more disaster. The best and the only suggestion that we could do is educate people to figure out who the pack leader is. Yes, it's not rocket science. Like I said, it is the dog who barks first in your area. It's the dog who gets the meal first. It's the dog who's respected by the other dogs. It's the dog who sleeps
Interesting.
on the top. As in, if there's a pile of sand, the dog who's sleeping on the top of the pile of sand or on the compound, they turn out to be the pack leaders. They're the ones who get their mate. Identify them, get back to your corporations and do let them know, or NGOs, and do let them know. This is the menace maker. He's the powerhouse there. If he's not being targeted, getting to the locals, getting to these dogs who are going to be docile, they're wagging their tail, they're comfortable to be with us, and troubling them, putting them anywhere is going to increase the trouble, not going to decrease for sure.
Okay. Amit, is that comforting to hear? Do you believe that this could be a good start for the RWAs to identify your
Right.
pack leaders?
In fact, I mentioned about my personal opinion or personal case here in my sector. Yes, he's right. We have a one dog here who I've given the example. I think he has attacked more than 15 people, and there are more than reported and confirmed more than 10 dog bites of that particular dog, and he has been not moved. And once he start barking, as he mentioned, he's the one who start aggression, who start chasing people, and he's the one who did everything, and then other follows him. And as I mentioned that I'm friendly with dogs in my area. We have sterilized all the dogs in my area and my sector. We have ensured the yearly vaccination as well. Apart from that, but we ensure that they get the proper food. But if I say there are around 15 dogs in that area, then two are more aggressive, as he mentioned. These two are the troublemakers, and this is what I'm saying. Move these troublemakers to the shelter home, keep them there, give them treatment. This is what will, resolve this conflict. I know you cannot move each and every dog to the shelter home, but at least move those who are reportedly and who has confirmed dog bites and who are repeatedly attacking the people. Another thing which I like to point out here, see, we are missing 2 points here. When we talk about the ABC program, see, when we talk about ABC program, it comes around 2003, and the gated communities in Delhi, Noida, NCR started coming after 2010. So there are no place for the feeding for these dogs. And as per the ABC AWBI guidelines, you cannot feed the dogs on the pedestrian area or the children area, kids area, movable area. And when the dogs are having food, they become insecure and they become aggressive. This is what time they try to attack other people or during the mating season. See, so the guidelines cannot be same for the gated communities with having a very limited space, and the rules were framed 25 years or 22
Right.
years ago when there was very less gated communities. So we need to think about them as well, sector as well, and move the aggressive dogs to the shelter home.
Okay.
It need to
That's
be done
precisely what
ASAP.
Amrut also said. Gajendra, do you agree?
Yeah, so
ABC rules have been
look,
renewed in
again, I would
2023 for
emphasize that
especially for
One of you, please.
address the
Gajendra.
issue. Yeah, thank you. So what I was saying basically that we need to look at the humane and sustainable solution to deal with this problem. And I do agree with the fact that there are, the aggressive dogs sometime, which probably the one causing all the trouble in a particular locality. So if there are such dogs, those can be identified. And I think the panelists suggested that how you can identify such dogs. And you can take them, you sterilize, vaccinate, and then observe their behavior, whether they might be suffering from some disease or maybe they have some other issues which might be causing their particular behavior. And if they are fit to be released in the community, then only they should be released. Otherwise, they can be the one who can be kept into the high welfare friendly shelters as proposed.
Okay. Aniruddha, I'm going to finally wrap with you on this. As much as we've spoken about strays, we've also mixed in some visuals of pet dog attacks, which also seems to be a issue that's on the rise and that hasn't been addressed. Would you want to say something on that?
70% of the dog bites are because of pets itself.
Yeah.
So that also we have to understand. And
Yeah.
we have people like Dr. Amrut, who is expert in dealing with such kinds of situation. So see, ABC, and when Sir was talking, Dr. Amit was talking about the ABC rules not being renewed. It was renewed in 2023, especially for this RWAs, MCs. They had to
Okay.
deal with it. But the problem is awareness is not there. Education is very important, and people like Dr. Amrut should be on the panelist and committee so that even the Supreme Court and the government would understand how to deal with this stray dog menace.
All
if you
right,
call
so
it that.
Amrut, maybe you should push yourself a little more on News 9 here. Be more visible. Let's hope they take you part of the examining and decision committee. Supreme Court to take up the matter tomorrow. There will be a thorough discussion yet again, and maybe a relook into what the Supreme Court's initial order said. So. Possibly with all the activist community coming together, holding those protests, candlelit marches that happened in Delhi, we're looking at an order positively that will be a middle ground, act as a middle ground to ensure that people are safe and the dogs are safe as well. So thank you. I really appreciate all of you for joining us and shedding light on this story.